Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. Had an awesome leg day the other day, and I definitely want to share this one with you. So far, my leg days have definitely been coming along. I feel like I'm getting a lot stronger with my legs, and I've been training legs for a whole long time, and I don't know if they're absolutely growing a whole lot at this point. I feel like I noticed my upper body bulking up more than my lower body at this point, but my legs are definitely getting stronger, and that's, you know, that's encouraging. Right now, I'm just getting through with my warm-up sets. As you guys know, if you've watched the videos before, I generally like to warm up with some bodyweight squats, then just the bar, and then 135, then I'll add 25s, and then 35s. And then once I get into the 245s on the bar, that's when I start to really get into my working sets, is what I would say. So right now, I'm squatting 225, and I'm doing sets of 6. And now at this point, these were feeling pretty easy. I was feeling pretty strong. Everything was feeling good, so after this set of 6, I decided to bump it up to 235. So I just basically put 2 5s on the bar. And if you guys have watched the video before, the reason I do that is because I feel like adding 10 pounds to the weight you're doing, until you get to the absolute max of what you're able to do, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, and I don't really think I need to change my reps up very much when I'm just adding 10 pounds, especially when I'm feeling strong. You always, well, at least I do, I always want to keep that last rep being like the last rep I can do. Not necessarily going to failure, but, you know, I always want to be pushing myself. So I did do 3 sets at 225, and then to finish off the 6 sets of 6, here I go, I tack on the little 5-pound weights on the end. And I personally would rather increase the weight than increase the reps at this point, because I really like having my main working sets start at the 6x6, then 4x4, 2x2, and then I'd go for a max attempt. And people have told me in the comments before that, you know, maybe sometime I should go for a true max attempt. You know, go in the gym, do some warm-up sets with, you know, increasing weight, but keeping the rep ranges really, really low just to get warmed up. But really, I prefer to, of course, the main thing that I'm doing here, this is pretty much the bulk of my workout. The 6x6 and the 4x4, and I actually did 5x5 today, so I was pretty proud. I'll show you that in a second. But the 6x6 and the 4x4 or 5x5, those are the main bulk of my workout. Those are the ones that, you know, I'm keeping the weight pretty difficult, but I'm also keeping my reps fairly high. So really taxing my body, trying to get those muscles to grow, not just going for the 1 rep or 2 rep maxes. But the reason I do that is not only because I want to get that work done first, but because, like, you know, I think like a video game. Like, you can't just bypass the entire level and just fight the final boss, you know, with everything that you need to, you're all prepared for that. You haven't had to use any potions, you haven't had to use any health to get to the final boss. No, man, you gotta grind yourself down a little bit. You gotta make it through the trials before you can fight the final boss. And for me, the final boss is that 1 rep max. And I don't feel like it's quite you know, quite right for me to just be able to walk right up to the final boss with all my weapons in perfect condition and my health pool all full to the brim. No, I like to give myself a challenge, and plus I also like the feeling of working up to it. If you work up to it slowly but surely, like, your intensity increases, your focus increases, and for me, I'm also really not against having to put my body under that sort of strain. You know, having the heaviest thing you do be the final thing you do, that's a pretty, I don't know, that's a pretty intense little trial to face, and I like that, so that's what I went with today. And that's also what I tend to do on most of my workouts. But anyway, as you'll see, right now I'm doing 5 sets of 5 reps at 255. So I was feeling really, really strong today, and I tacked on the 10 pounds on top of the 245s and the 5s on both sides. And I was feeling strong enough for 5 reps, so I went for it. I was feeling intense, I was feeling good, so went ahead and pushed it a little bit, and I think it's really, really good that I did. But you can also notice here that I did put my belt on for this. This is just a good time to put the belt on for me. When I start dropping below 6 reps, I feel like it's a good time. Did try to hold off on using the belt for my 6 sets of 6 because I don't want to lose too much core strength. I don't think it's a huge deal wearing a belt, like, in terms of how detrimental it is to your core strength, but if I can hold off on using it for a little while, I will. But like I said, this is where you start really getting down to business here. The reps get a little bit lower, the weight gets a little bit higher, and you really have to dig in. So the extra support from the belt is nice. And now, for some people, like, if you've never worn a weightlifting belt before, I don't really feel the support as much in my back. The way that I feel the belt is useful is in building just like tightness in your core. So I'm not just wearing a belt as tight as possible to have it just, like, you know, stick to my back and support my back somehow. I'm actually using it to flex my stomach muscles against, to form a really tight base to push from in my core. And it makes a huge difference when you're lifting weights like this. But that feeling also teaches me to try to attempt that when I'm not using the belt too. A tight core, especially on squats and deadlifts and stuff like that, has been a huge help to me. When I focus on that, it makes a big difference. So now we're gonna go ahead and bump it up to 275 here. I do believe I go for 3 reps here. I was feeling pretty good, and I was feeling good enough that I went ahead and tried for 315 again. I didn't want to waste too much effort and energy draining myself at 275 when I had a chance to go for this. And I also thought I had done enough work, you know, to make an attempt at it. So here's one real nice clean rep at 315. I went for 2 here. Couldn't quite get the second one, but that's okay. Had my buddy there to help me out. We got the second rep up there. And that one's in my system, but that first rep at 315 felt good enough that I went ahead and tried 325. Now this will be a new max for me, but I was feeling strong. On my leg day before this one, I was able to get 315 up, no problem, a couple times. So I went ahead and tried 325. Go all the way down with it and just bring it up nice and smooth, no help needed. Really proud about that one. That was 325. That's a new max for me. It's not a ton compared to some people probably, but hey, that's the most I've ever done, so I'm proud. So once I hit that 325 squat, I went ahead and dropped it back down to 275 and finished up my 3 sets of 3. Because if I can do 3 reps of this, I may as well do 3 sets of it too. So here's a couple more sets at 275. Still feeling good for my big squat at 325. You know, I don't get as tired out from doing 1 rep maxes as I do from just pounding in reps. So that's why I generally prefer to hit high volume over just pure high weight. But as you can see, I do want to include some heavier work because I think it's worth doing. I don't want to get caught in a situation where I'm only lifting like, you know, moderate weight for high to moderate reps and not really attempting some heavy weight too. Because I think it's all worthwhile. It's all good. And even if I just get a better burn or better pump from doing high reps, I want to include some of this heavy stuff in there because I want to get stronger too. But after I finished up with my squats, I was really proud. I actually laddered down to 225 a little bit. I did a couple sets at 225, and then as usual I did do some front squats as well. Didn't do any straight-legged deadlifts today though because I actually like busted up a callus on my hand doing back day, so I kind of want to let that callus heal so I can do deadlifts for real over the next couple days. But I did want to finish off with some of these isolation exercises. I really like doing these because I feel like definitely the big compound lifts make a difference and it's worth focusing on them. But I think these isolation movements really help clean up the muscle, you know, maybe activate a little bit of stuff that you didn't activate before. And of course, isolation is always helpful. And some people even like to do some isolation work before they do their big compound lifts to pre-exhaust or maybe even just get warmed up. I tend to prefer to do my compound lifts first so I feel strong and powerful and can get as much out of those big compound lifts as I can. And then once I'm a little bit more fatigued, I can just sort of grind it out with really simple motions rather than having to worry about balance and stuff like that, because I am pretty beat after I do my big compound lifts, especially on squat and deadlift day. I just get ruined by those exercises, but it's ruined in the best kind of way. I'm very happy with how my leg days have been going. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how my training's been going in general. My diet, I'm still holding it pretty steady, around 4,000 calories a day. Sometimes, I'm a little bit under that, you know, maybe 3,700, 3,800, but sometimes I go a little bit over that, like maybe 4,200, 4,300. So it evens out, and all in all, I think I'm doing pretty good. I am weighing about 210 right now, so that's actually a lot of weight gained over a pretty short period of time. And like I've mentioned before in other videos, it is definitely not all muscle. Definitely putting on a little bit of body fat, but body fat doesn't really scare me all that much. And if you guys are bulking at the moment, or you are considering starting a bulk, I would definitely encourage you to be comfortable with the idea of gaining a little bit of body fat during your bulk. It's just one of those things that might happen, but you know, if you're eating an excess of calories, you might gain some body fat, but that's all right, because you're definitely going to be gaining some muscle along with it if you are putting in the work in the gym. And the other part of that is once you start your dieting phase as well, you're going to be a lot stronger, you're going to have a lot more muscle than you had before, and that body fat will come right off because your base metabolism will be high from all the extra muscle mass that you've put on, and you'll have that much more time in training, so you'll just be ready to be that lean, mean, calorie-burning machine, do a little bit extra cardio, get your calories below what you're burning, and then you'll be back to being lean in no time. So nothing to worry about while you're bulking. A little bit of body fat shouldn't scare you too much because it's just going to mean you're getting stronger, getting bigger, and that's the goal here, at least during bulking season. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Peace!